Think about this controversial law is the Stand Your Ground law. It was basically drafted with the intent of expanding self-defense claims beyond the home. So unlike other similar laws that allow you to protect your home and shoot if someone is breaking in, this law allows you to stand your ground wherever that may be and gives the benefit of the doubt to the person who claims self-defense. In Florida, if someone believes that they are in imminent danger of being killed or badly injured, they do not have to retreat, even if it would seem reasonable to do so. They have the right to stand their ground and protect themselves with force at any place, at any time. Whenever I tell people this, they say, oh, that must be some old law that was on the books like 100 years ago, and I say, no. It was passed in 2005. Yeah. The Tampa Bay Times compiled a report based on all these incidents, and since the law went into effect, it has been invoked 132 times. The Tampa Bay Times compiled a report and said that of these incidents, 70% of these 132 cases involved a fatality. In the majority of these cases, the person who plunged the knife or swung the bat or pulled the trigger did not even face trial. In 50 of these cases, the person who used the force was never even charged with a crime. And of the 28 cases that actually did make it to trial, only 19 people were actually found guilty of a crime. How can this law even be possible? And how can we have a shoot first and ask questions later law? Well, this particular law was heavily lobbied by the National Rifle Association, and they used Florida as its testing ground. They've essentially done what they do best. They protect and defend the rights of hunters. And in the case of Trayvon Martin, they essentially opened the door for some predator with a concealed weapons permit to hunt down and murder a human. Right. A child. And get away with it for now.
For now.
For now. This law needs to be repealed entirely for the safety of everyone in that state and for our country. Kevin had mentioned it's spread to 21 other states. This isn't just a Florida issue. Florida relies heavily on tourism, and if I were a tourist, I would not want to go vacation someplace where if I upset a guy on the beach over a parking space, he could pull out a gun and shoot me. Without consequence.
Boycott Florida! Boycott Florida!
Are you listening, Disney? Disney, you might want to do something about this. This law is wrong, and it needs to disappear and not spread to other states like it's been doing this. But we're here today talking about Trayvon. And what happened to Trayvon was not a case of stand your ground. It isn't even close. Trayvon was followed, stalked, targeted, and murdered by a racist with a gun who had been anxious for quite some time to realize his vigilante fantasy of ridding the world of one more black man. Stanton Police Department, who has a shady history, and if you look it up, you'll see they have a history of this sort of thing, of not prosecuting crimes against African Americans, decided to look the other way and allow this sick person to claim self-defense in a murder that anyone who has heard those 911 tapes knows is just not true.
Murder! Murder!
Stanton Police Department, by refusing to prosecute Zimmerman, is complicit in this crime. He said in the 9/11 tapes, I'm following him and he's running. That makes his defense of stand your ground entirely invalid. This is not a debate about self-defense, this is a modern day lynching. This case does not need further investigation to arrest this predator. He needs to be arrested now and be tried not only for murder first degree, but this was also a hate crime. This has nothing to do with hoodies. wears a hoodie on a chilly night while walking home in the rain, he's just cold. If a black kid wears it, he's up to no good. This was a hate crime and a murder, plain and simple. The right to stand your ground law is a bad law, but it cannot even debate that Zimmerman even falls into a glimmer of possibility that he has a defense there. And as citizens, as activists, as parents, it is all of our duty to hold our lawmakers accountable and those who pay to enforce those laws accountable too. If the Stamford police refuse to apply the law the way it should be, then we must demand that the Justice Department does. This man should be arrested now. He's a menace to society and a flight risk. Wrapping it up. President Obama, just to close, said that if he had a son, he would look like Trayvon. And I'd like to say that maybe if I had a son, he wouldn't. But as Americans, there should be no difference.
Thank you.
We all need to fight just as hard as if Trayvon were our own son. And as a mother, I see it that way and hope the rest of the country will too.